May 29th, you guys went to the polls in 2012. And we had a ballot initiative. We did not want the budget to grow any faster than population adjusted for inflation. You remember that? 94% of us voted for that. You can't get 94% of the people in this room to agree on what color red that chair is. We couldn't get that bill out of committee because of Joe Strauss. Could not get that bill even though 94% of Texans voted for that. We could not get that bill out of committee. Scotty Turner. Y'all are familiar with Scott Turner, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
He's a good man, isn't he? Scott Turner had a bill, a transparency bill, that went along with Susan Combs' deal about local debt. We felt that you should have the right to know how much debt you've currently got and how much debt this bond proposition will cause and how long it will take to pay it off. Does that sound unreasonable to anybody? Joe Strauss wouldn't let that bill out of committee. But people look at Scott and say, Scott didn't get anything done. He didn't get anything done because we have a liberal House Speaker. And we got moderates that control the Texas legislature, and it's got to stop. We have a near two-thirds majority, yet 62%, nearly two-thirds of the legislation that goes through the Texas House is Democrat legislation. Does that sound like a conservative House Speaker to anybody in this room? No. Absolutely not. We need a change. And the only way we're going to get that change is we come back here, we get people like Jonathan Stickland and Giovanni Carpiglione that educate you about what's really going on in Austin so that you will hold elected officials' feet to the fire so that they will not vote for Joe Strauss again. Amen? Amen. All right, let's get it done. As Julie shared, I went down to the border about 4 weeks ago. I'm going down again tomorrow. I got a flat 1/10 of a mile from here, and love it. Northeast Tarrant Tea Party, there's a tweet out there right now, come to the Northeast Tarrant Tea Party, we'll change your oil and your tires too. We're bringing some new legislators down to the border because we want them to see exactly what's going on down there. And in short, I'm going to give you a brief overview and talk about this failed state that's called Mexico. Because right now what's going on is Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, and now even Belize have entered into an agreement with Mexico to rapidly move people through the country with these 72-hour visas. It's an invasion. Let's start using the real word. It is an invasion now. When you have 5 countries that are banding together to move people through Mexico into the United States, it's no longer a game. And it's no longer just a small problem. This is a game-ending problem from Texas. And we've got to educate people about it. What happens is that as they move north through Mexico, as they hit the northern Mexican states, the cartel funnels them towards the Rio Grande Valley. Okay, the Rio Grande Valley, right, it's from the Far East. And then you've got 3 more sectors off to the west. So when we hear about this boot surge, this number of DPS workers that we're sending to the border, we're only talking about the Rio Grande Valley. That's it. There's another 380 miles of border that is completely unsecured, where there's no DPS presence whatsoever. None. Nothing. Zip. Zilch. Zero. The cartel is hoping that if we can they can overwhelm DPS in the Rio Grande Valley, they can do anything and everything that they want over the other 380 miles of unsecured border. Does that sound like a secure border to anybody here? It's not. I was at my commissioner's court this morning asking that for Montgomery County that we not allow, we have a corrections facility in Montgomery County, it's called the Joe Corley Unit. 1,522 beds. 1,000 of those beds are taken up right now by illegals. 60% of them, every 2 months, are released out the back door into my county. These are people that we have no idea what their arrest records are. We have no idea what their immunization schedule is. We have no idea what crimes they've committed. Nothing. And we're releasing them right out into the open. Y'all heard what happened in Parker County, right, the other night? An illegal walks into a person's home through the window, sexually violates a little girl. How old? 9 years old. They catch the guy. He has been deported 4 times. 4 times. And yet we sit back and we get angry at the federal government when we know that Obama's intentions are not good, right, and honorable towards Texas. We know that, right? This isn't a de facto thing. We get it. Which means that we now in Texas have got to step up and secure our own borders because the federal government will not. Amen? They're not going to do it. Here's what we need to do. We have this thing called the Texas National Guard, and we have this thing called the Texas State Guard. The Texas State Guard is Texas's militia. They cannot be held under the posse comitatus statute, meaning military on the ground, because they're the governors and the state of Texas's militia. With the Texas National Guard, we could go and deploy them, which I hope we will tomorrow. We need to do it. We've got the money to do it. We've got an $8.8 billion surplus that we started the 83rd legislative session with. That's not the rainy day fund. That's above and beyond the rainy day fund. Anyone thinks that we're struggling for money in Texas? Are you kidding me? And they want to raise the gas tax, and they want to raise this tax and that tax, and we started the 83rd session with $8.8 billion. We're going to start this session with over $9 billion in surplus, and there's still more discussion about raising taxes. We've got the money to secure the border. I don't care if the federal government won't do it. I get it. I understand it. Let's sue them later on. But right now, let's stop the leak. Let's deploy the Texas National Guard now. Close the border. While we're doing that, we've got to outfit the Texas State Guard. We've got young men coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. CDC says that the rate of post-traumatic stress disorder is not epidemic, it's pandemic. We're losing more guys to post-traumatic stress disorder than we are losing over in the conflict. When these guys get off the plane, they lose a sense of mission, purpose, unit cohesion, and a job right away. And yet we wash our hands of these guys that have put their lives on the line for us. Why not bring them back into the Texas State Guard? Give them a job. Put them a month on the border, a month at home, month on the border, a month at home, while we triage them and find out how they're doing, while we help them. Give them a job. They'll know a greater sense of purpose and mission securing our border than they will ever in Iraq or Afghanistan. Right? We've got the money. We just need the will to do it. And the great thing about doing this is that now Texas has a fully outfitted Texas State Guard that is a Texas militia that the government can't jack with. They can pull our Texas National Guard away. They can redeploy them. Obama cannot. We don't have to worry about whether we've got a Democrat or a Republican in Washington. We just have to make sure that we're controlling our own destiny here in Texas, because we cannot wait for Washington to do the right thing. We can't. We can do this. We can do this. But we've got to have the will. We've got to hold elected officials' feet to the fire to get it done. And I hope that you'll help me go to Austin with Connie. We were so excited for her to win. This is going to be a huge pickup to kick Wendy Davis out of that seat. But if I lose, it's going to be offset. So I've got to win.